Today we're going to talk about how I consistently craft and sell $3,000 or more health programs. And the reason why we're talking about this is because a lot of times health educators, I find that one of the biggest reasons why they're having a hard time getting ahead or making their business profitable is just simply because they haven't learned how to package and offer, present their message in a way that people can see that value. And today I'm going to be pulling back the curtains. I'm going to share with you an assessment of sorts, like how to know that you have a profitable program. Imagine this video like it's an audit that's going to audit if you currently have a program or you're creating a program that you want to make sure that the program is ready for selling, that people would gladly pay you. And I would like to recommend at least $3,000 or more for your health education program. These are some of the elements that are going to be required in order to make this happen. And this is how my clients are able to consistently, we're able to take people from whether like someone like Regine, who's been selling a $200 course, to be able to 15x her prices, to be able to create a group coaching program and sell those. Or someone who was like Dr. Kinja Lee, who was having a hard time selling her, I think it was like a $300 program, and we helped her to be able to craft a $3,000 offer. And there's just a few tweaks that we do that lead to the biggest peaks, that make the biggest difference, that people will gladly be willing to pay you for your programs and your health knowledge. And a lot of, whether it's naturopathic doctors or holistic health professionals, people that come to me, they're like, I'm not sure how to go about the pricing. How do I make sense of this? And so what we do is we go through this. We want to make sure to record. And then so these are 9 elements of a high ticket offer that we go through. And can someone fix the screen also? That will that we can get rid of that. Thank you. So number 1, the first thing that we want to consider is you want to get clear on what is your profitable person. And what do I mean by your profitable person? If you want to sell a program that people will be glad to pay for, then it's very important that you select a person, that you are selling to an individual, someone. And the reason why I say profitable is because not every person that you sell to is going to be the ideal. And what a lot of times health educators do is they try to sell to everyone, and they end up selling to no one, because anything that is also for everyone is also for no one. So get very clear on who are you serving. There's 2 criteria that you want to select. And number 1, you want to make sure that that person is, 1, willing to pay, that they actually desire to pay for the solution that you want to solve. And at the end of the day, people are not buying health programs, they're buying solutions to health problems. So when we're really clear that not every problem is as valuable to the person you're speaking to, so you want to make sure that the person is actually willing to pay for that. We were coaching someone in our challenge that we just ended, and she was wanting to help women to get to the spiritual root cause of the disease and diagnosis. And you know, a lot of people, like, you want to think you want to like ask yourself if the language that you're talking about, are your clients staying up the night before they meet you and they're staring wide-eyed at the ceiling and they can't sleep and they're just like, I have this diagnosis. If only I can get to the spiritual root cause of my problem, then I'll be able to overcome my diagnosis, right? They're not really doing that. That's not what's going through their mind. So we want to think about, what are they willing to pay? One way that you can know is just find who are people who are consistently selling something, that if people are paying for it currently, that's a good sign. But they got to be willing to actually want to pay for that. Now, that doesn't mean you can't teach to get to the spiritual root cause. You could definitely do that after they become your client. But a problem that people are usually looking for is something like maybe like weight loss or a specific diagnosis. Maybe they want to reverse their high blood pressure, or they want to reverse their diabetes or some sort of issue that they have. So they got to be willing to pay, because we might be passionate about teaching the thing, but it's not just, if we want to have a profitable program, we can't just focus on serving people we're passionate about, like topics that we're passionate about teaching about. We have to choose to serve people who are passionate about paying for these solutions. So that's the one criteria for the person. And then the second is that they are able to pay. They have what I would call the purchasing power, and purchasing power is very important. You want to, what I would recommend is solve problems for rich people, because it's going to be very difficult to build a business trying to sell to homeless people. I mean, there is just even the person that you serve or you select to be your ideal client, your target audience, that is going to largely make or break whether this is going to make sense or not. So what the purchasing power looks like is, if you're living in a third world country, instead of trying to sell specifically or ideally to your local market, sell to international markets, whether they're people in America, from the UK, from Australia. What I would recommend, and I know that like Peng Joon, he's someone who lives in Indonesia, and when he was just getting started, he was in Indonesia, nobody knew his name, but what he did is he started to first of all, he's made over $10 million in his business and tens of millions of dollars. And he did that by charging his prices in USD. Even though in Indonesia they use something like rupees, he charges in USD, and he's able to target in his ads and locations through to other first world countries. And that's one thing that would be helpful. Another thing is to instead of picking like people who are I'm going to teach the unemployed how to fix their health, go find busy professionals. Busy professionals usually have a higher income bracket. What I'm saying is not that you're unable to help people who at affordable prices or affordable methods. When you follow what I'm sharing with you, is that you can solve problems for wealthy people, and they're able to give you resources that now that really $3,000 is like nothing. We got a client, Dr. Razia, who when she presented her offer to someone who was a teacher over in her country, and she heard $3,000, she's like, oh, that's nothing. And because they're paying tens of thousands of dollars, they're paying far more for other health conditions that they have already. So the purchasing power, you want to find someone who has like a high income bracket. Maybe they're retired, maybe they're a business owner, maybe they are a busy professional, someone who has the purchasing power to even to make that decision. This is really key. Like if you're going to be teaching children, for instance, you're not selling to kids or teenagers, you're going to be selling to their parents. Your marketing is to their parents, even if your actual education is for the kids. Then that you just think about who has the purchasing power, and ideally you want to solve problems for someone who has a very big problem and very big pockets. And then the third criteria that you want to look for is someone in picking a profitable person is that they're easy to find. And what I mean by that is that they're easy to speak to, locate, that there's people online who are congregating around topics already. And if you can find Facebook ads that target the ideal client that you're looking for, that's usually an indication that they're going to be easy to find. Maybe there's associations, there's memberships, there's masterminds, there's groups, there's conventions, there's locations where these ideal clients are already gathering online. And what's really powerful is when you're able to craft a signature speech or get your message, whether it's or your organic content, maybe you're speaking on other people's platforms, or it's speaking at a local event or an online event, wherever your ideal clients, these people are gathering, if they're easy to find, that's a good indication that it could be a very profitable person to be able to serve. But if you don't pick a profitable person, it's going to be very difficult to build a profitable business at the end of the day. So that is the first principle as far as like the assessment goes, to know if you have a winning offer that's going to be able to serve people and be sustainable. And keep in mind too that as you sell to someone who could easily pay, they have the purchasing power, that $3,000 is nothing for them, then you could use those resources to be able to scale, to build your team. Then you can start publishing, you can put your process into a book, you can put your process into a course at a different pricing. You're able to, that will give you the income. The $3,000 will help provide you the resources whereby you're able to create the content and to be able to continue to share. And then now you could share that content for free, and it makes it easier to be able to help people at different levels of financial commitment. Those who can't afford your $3,000 offer, that's okay. It doesn't mean you turn them away. You just help support them at the different level of support, whether it's through your free book, your speaking engagements, whether it's your content that you're giving out to the world. There's many ways that you're able to change their lives and improve their lives, but it doesn't have to be your highest program. So one of the things that holds people back is thinking, well, I want my programs to be affordable by everyone. But the reality is that is a recipe for disaster. Give different tiers or levels of support that you can give access to, that people can have access to you. And what I would do is, if you're getting started, or if you're having a hard time, if you're in need of a financial breakthrough, start at the top tier and start at least at a $3,000 health program, and sell that, and then work your way down. Don't start from the bottom up. That's going to be very difficult to build a business. So number one, pick a profitable person. Number two is to pick a profitable problem. Now, why do you want to pick a profitable problem? Because again, people don't buy programs, they buy solutions to problems. So a profitable problem, like I heard someone explaining what they do. It's like, what do you do? And they're like, I help speedsters to be able to accelerate their speeding. And I'm like, I had no idea whatever they were talking about. We want to be really careful about the jargon that we use, because a lot of times we're using the same vocabulary, but we're not all using the same dictionary. And something that may be very, very clear to you is not very, very clear to the market, who's ultimately going to be paying for your programs. So to pick one profitable problem, sometimes what you can do is you could identify what are the top 10 ailments or diseases, chronic diseases that are plaguing the nation. You could see, I mean, those are going to be a wealth of places you could help with, like heart disease, diabetes, weight loss. Those are all very good. And another way that you could identify a profitable problem is if you've gone through a problem, you've had a health condition, and that has been something that you've experienced or you've overcame. Like for me, I was able to lose 50 pounds in 3 months and never put it back on when I was 12. And then I had a heart attack when I was 12. And because of that, people wanted to know my story. And that got me into speaking in more opportunities to share my testimony. And then I started finding a passion for health, and I started investing in mentors that I could learn more and expand my skill set. So the problems that I shared was like weight lossing and getting rid of toxic foods and learning how to support our body's ability in cleansing, and the principles that God used to drastically change my life. Those are the principles that I shared. And so the problem, a lot of times your problems of your past become your presentation. And that becomes the problem you're able to solve. Sometimes it's the death of a loved one. Like I know I was in a mastermind with Coach Rochelle T. Parks, and her husband had a problem. The doctor gave her just a few days or months to live, and basically wrote him off like, you're gonna die. They're incurable. You're on your own sport. And she's like, I am not letting my husband die. And she, having no medical background, she was like from the military. She just had a desire to go help her husband to survive and live. So she went on this rabbit hole of learning everything that she could that wasn't mainstream medicine, because mainstream medicine gave up on her husband and she wasn't giving up on her husband. So as she went on this journey to solve this problem for her husband, she found some solutions and it coached her husband through this process, and he's still alive to this day. And he was able to reverse these diseases that the doctor said that you can't. So now she's able to share her message, and she didn't charge $3,000. I believe she has like a $30,000 program, and people are able to go through her program, and she's using the problem that her loved one had, and she's using the story of helping her husband and his transformation to be able to inspire others to take hold of their health. Does that make sense? Type problem in the chat if this is starting to make sense, and it's getting your gears thinking about the profitable problem you're going to solve. And this is where you want to be extremely clear of what is the problem that you are solving. So it's like, I help busy professionals to lose weight, or I help entrepreneurs to reverse their diabetes, type 2 diabetes, or I help moms to flatten their mommy tummy. And with this problem, it has to be a problem that they perceive that they have. And as health experts, health educators, we know what the real, the cause of the problem is. And sometimes, but a lot of times they don't know what the cause is. So what we have to do is, as far as our languaging, we have to language it. You want to enter the conversation that is already happening in their head, in their minds, because that's what's going to help be most influential. Because just because we know their issue needs, it's like Regine, a client of mine, she went through this process, and we were able to help her to craft her first $3,000 program. She got started in her journey, and she wanted to help moms to find balance and learn these 8 laws of health, and she wanted to teach about nutrition and how to have a spiritual connection with God. And she's like, yeah, these are all problems people have. Mothers don't have balance in their life, and they're not as close to God as they'd like to be, or they could be, or they don't know these laws of health. And so that's what she created content on. But those were problems that she saw they had, but they didn't see they had. They weren't like waking up and they're like, oh, if only I could just have if I could have more balance in my life. That's not so much the language of their mind. And she realized that a lot of people are struggling with how they view themselves in their body and the excess weight. They look pregnant when they're no longer pregnant, and they want to be able to flatten their mommy tummy. And she started to realize that after pregnancy, mothers would start to have issues with leaking when they exercise, and then that affects a lot of their social interactions and with their children. This is a really painful problem that people are willing to pay a lot of money to be able to solve at different levels. So she has her online course, and she has her group coaching program. And in that capacity, she started finding the language where now she's able to create content and position herself as she helps women to flatten their mommy tummy and to stop their leaking and to be able to flatten their stomach, and they love it. And she's been able to grow to over 1.5 million followers on social media because now she's able to get the attention of the people, all because she found the profitable problem to solve. But you know what the best part is? The awesome part is she still teaches in her paid programs the how to come closer to God, about the how to find balance in life as a mother, and the exact same, the 8 laws of health. She has an 8 core challenge, and her course is 8 modules. And guess why? Because there's 8 laws of health. The same stuff that she set out to teach. You don't have to change your program of what you actually deliver and how you help people. You just change the presentation, the messaging. So what I'm sharing with you is the marketing methods that were able to help you to monetize the health knowledge that you have. And when you get these things right, it makes a huge difference. So you solve that profitable problem, right? What about the third thing? The third part is to have a profitable pricing. Pricing is huge because, and really understand that pricing is not the same as value and cost. Pricing is really about value alignments. The reason why people will pay, sometimes people ask her who would pay me $3,000 and why would they do that? For my health knowledge, And part of the reason is because when the value of the price that you charge, that you offer, the value you give is this much, and the price you ask for is 10 times less, people will pay it every day. They say no when the price is 10 times greater than the value that they see. But there's a difference. It's really important to understand that pricing is really perception, because there's cost, there's price, and then there's value. These are three different things. And if you don't know the difference between cost, price, and value, then that's going to be a big problem as far as you crafting an offer that's able to change people's lives in a way that's able to financially support your mission, your family, your future. So cost is how much it actually costs you to deliver it. So if I have a book, for instance, and I'm selling this book, the book just costs like a few dollars, maybe like $2 or so to actually print it. But the price, these are $20, $25 on Amazon, and like the price is not the same as the cost. And that's how everything in life works. If you sell everything at cost, if you price your programs at cost, then it's going to be very difficult to have resources to build a team, to pay for professionals, to get the help, to get your message out to the masses, because there's a lot more cost of time, energy, effort, of like even what it costs you to get the education. If you got some certifications or degrees, like that's part of the cost. The heart, the knowledge, the time that went into you learning all these things, that's part of your cost. But a lot of health educators who have a heart to serve, they want to give everything at cost, and this is going to be a huge difference. What you have to do is find ways to be able to expand the difference between your cost and your price. But it's not just about raising the prices, it's about learning how to increase the value so that they will see. Price is the number in the transaction of what is actually transferred. But the value is perception. Value is what they get. So I'll give you an analogy. Let's say I have a water bottle, right? And this is revealed in Matthew 25 in verse, I believe it was 26, where it talks about the parable of the 10 talents. And God was saying to that unprofitable servant that he's called a wicked and slothful servant. And he was saying that you should have put my money to the exchangers. This is a financial law of wealth. It's a financial law of exchange. And what the financial law of exchange states is that if I have this water bottle, let's say I'm selling this, the cost to make this, it may be pennies or fractions of a dollar. But, and then a lot of these like plastic water bottles, they're like point something of a penny to create it. And then you sell it for $1, or this, I think I paid maybe like $3, $4. I mostly bought it for the bottle, not for the water inside. But let's say I'm selling this to you, right? And you decide that you want to buy this, let's just say for $5. And when we make a transaction in this free world markets, when we have free will and we're able to choose what we buy, when I exchange the bottle in my possession for the $5 in your possession, what each party is stating is that you're saying that the bottle in my hands is worth more value to you than the $5 in your pocket. So we exchange. And what I'm saying is that the $5 in your hands is worth more value to me than the bottle in my possession. I might have multiple of these bottles, and there's more where that came from. I have this in abundance, but you don't have my bottle in abundance. And you have money that you're willing to part. So what we're basically saying is that we're both walking away with more value than we started. We both walk away wealthier than where we started in that transaction. So as a health educator, what this looks like is that when you have knowledge to be able to solve a problem that is big or large, or that people don't know how to do, and it doesn't have to be big to you or complicated to you, just have to be complex to the person you're selling to. And it may be difficult or hard. They won't even know where to start. But because you've been learning about health and been enthusiastic about health or applying health to your life, and you've been a student of the body and disease, its cause, prevention, cure, whatever it is that you've been learning about, it seems like simple to you, but that's how business is created. Every dollar in your possession, all the money that you have is really a certificate. It's a certificate of value. Think of it like a receipt. Money is a result of adding value to the marketplace. How do you add value? You add value by solving valuable problems. And what's really just so empowering is to realize that when you exchange value, both people walk away wealthier. It's not that you're taking $3,000 from someone, you're taking advantage of them. They're literally saying that the $3,000 in their account is worth less to them than the knowledge that you have on how to lose weight, how to feel better, how to love your body, how to reverse a diagnosis, whatever the case is. There's value in your knowledge, there's value in your process, because one of the things that buying a mentor does is that when there's a gap between where your client is with their health, their body, their fitness, and where they want to be, and one of the best ways to close the gap, it's the same gap between what you know now and what you don't know yet. And every time that we invest in a mentor, we're actually buying our time back. And time is infinitely more valuable than our money, because money can be spent and it can come and go, but time lost can never be gathered again. So at the end of the day, just understand, you're not selling knowledge, you're selling speed. Fast is better than free. People will pay more money for speed than they will than trying to get this free stuff. And so it's important to understand that when it's coming to the profitable pricing, the reason why you can charge higher prices and why I would recommend is starting at the higher price range, and because there is no strategic advantage of being the second cheapest person in the marketplace. Most educators, when they come into a business, they're looking at, they're comparing themselves to other people in the market. They're either trying to do something that's so blue, so unique, so unheard of, they're trying to solve a problem nobody's buying, and that is a very dangerous place to be. And people think, well, if there's other people selling, that means that I can't do it because there's already another business there. No, that's actually an indication that there is a lot of people in a market who are willing to buy, they have the purchasing power, and that means they're easy to find. So the fact that there may be competition in the field is actually a good indication, because I'm going to share with you how you can find the holes in the market, and you can position your offer, your methodology, yourself, your brand, your personality as unique to an existing problem. You want to solve existing problems that are out there. That is a good indication that you've got a winning offer. So it's valuable when you're able. So we're talking about there's no strategic advantage of being the second cheapest. So what a lot of people try to do is they're like, oh, if this person's selling for 500, I'm going to sell for 400. And then they try to lower their prices. I think the key to getting ahead is by being the most affordable health educator on the block or in the market. But that's really not the case. A lot of times when your pricing is so low, people don't expect, like if you're the best, no one expects you to be the cheapest. And if you're the cheapest, no one expects you to be the best. And your pricing is part of your brand strategy. You will attract, if you believe that the principles you teach work and that they are valuable and it can change people's lives and improve their health, then charge like it. Because when you're selling things at cost or so low where you don't have a large enough profit margin, then you're communicating to the marketplace that you don't actually believe in the message and knowledge and the solution that you have. It's seeding doubt in people's minds. I'll give you an example. Like if I had a Ferrari that usually sells for $247, and I wanted to sell it to you for $2,000, or let's say a stranger walked up to you and said, hey, see that Ferrari? Give me $2,000 and it's yours. What would be the first thing that go through your mind? You'd be thinking like, is it stolen? Is it broken? What's wrong with it? And it's a premium vehicle, but it's selling for cheap. So then people think that there's something up. They're like, that can't be right. And that's exactly what group coaching is, or when you are like out of all the ways you can monetize your knowledge, from books to courses to coaching to seminars to different places, group coaching is a premium vehicle. But when you're selling this for so low, then it actually seeds concerns and doubts in people's minds that they start questioning if there's actually something wrong or missing, or that it's like, how are you able to dedicate your time, your attention, if you don't price your programs at a manner that you can actually give more resources to the people that you're serving? So if your pricing is too low, what it's going to force you to do is either it's going to force your time, your energy, your effort working a job that you don't enjoy, or feeding a source of income that is antagonistic, or it is not feeding into your calling, your mission as a health educator. It's going to create conflicts of your interests, of your time. But what happens is, when you price your programs in a manner that is able to feed your family, to support your work, it allows you to give yourself the attention, the time to invest your time, energy, and even more money into this mission, that you're able to go scale the impact that you have in the world. So pricing is not only something that's for you, it's something of benefit to them. So we're looking at how do you audit and offer a program, how to put together a profitable program that people will gladly pay $3,000 for. And this is one of the reasons why, if you can't be the cheapest, then and what happens is, it's a race to the bottom. So the profit margins between like your costs and how much you charge, it becomes razor thin. And then your time is, you got to do everything yourself. You can't invest in the tools, the software. You can't get the mentors, the guidance, the help. It's because the difference between what it costs you in time, energy, effort, and a lot of times when people are selling things at cost, they're not really calculating correctly the true cost of what it takes for you to share. Then it takes away from what you're able to serve and how to help them. So instead of trying to be the cheapest, then price yourself to be premium. Pick a higher program, and then add value to increase the perceived value so that people would gladly pay. There's two ways to appear the cheapest, or there's two ways to appear affordable. And one is to lower your price, which is not a great place. And the other is to increase the value. And there's no limit to the value that you can increase. And that way you could just pick a price pick a price that would make you smile. Like, what's something that you would be happy with, at least $3,000 or above. And then when you pick that premium price, then it's about stacking the value, which I'm going to show you more of how to do that, so that it makes it like a no-brainer for the person who wants to, who's considering working with you. So that's the third element of a profitable program. What about the fourth? Fourth we're looking at is your passion. And now you want to consider, at this point, a lot of people are thinking like, well, I want to do what I'm passionate about. And there's a lot of language out there from different gurus or people or people out there who are saying, just follow your passion. When you follow your heart, the money will follow. But all this message about just follow your heart, it's like Jeremiah says that the heart is deceitfully wicked above all things, who can know it? So any mentor who is telling you to just follow your heart, run away from them as fast as you can, because that is not a good marketing strategy. That is not a good life strategy. In fact, you don't want to just follow your heart. You want to follow when you want to make a profitable program, you got to follow the money and actually make data-driven decisions. That's why one of the reasons why a lot of health educators fail is because they don't actually do the market research to see what is already being sold, what are people buying, who's willing to pay, who has a purchasing power, who's easy to find. So you think about the passion is a part of it, and it can be, but it's not the primary driver. So you want to think about, well, what is profitable? Who is someone who's actually paying for it? That's a good indicator to lean in that direction. But also, like, what are some things that you can enjoy? Things that would influence your passion is, number one, if you have a challenge that you want to overcome, a lot of times people will pursue something that's interested in them, to them, like the example I gave with Coach Rochelle T. Parks. She was passionate about healing her husband, so she learned the skill and she monetized that. Other times you see, I was coaching Dr. Kadisha on our challenge last week, and she was like, well, I'd be more passionate about autoimmune disease, but in my local, I have this lifestyle center that I'm able to teach presentations, and there's a lot of diabetes problems, and there's a lot of diabetes problem internationally, and I've got a lot of material, I've got lots of success with people in that regard. I'd be more passionate about autoimmune disease, but there's this like diabetes as well. And I shared with her, it's like, well, we can learn to cultivate passion for just about anything. We can learn what we are passionate about helping with diabetes. And it sounds like if I were in that situation, I would pick the diabetes because there's a lot of opportunities. Sometimes it's with your market, your network, the influence that you have. Like for me, in being able to share with like digital marketing to a group of people, well, who do I serve? Well, I know a lot of health educators. My network is health education. My background is in health education. My passion is in, I like seeing people healed physically, and then their mind can be open spiritually. And Jesus did more healing the sick than he did preaching. And I like healing, and I like preaching. I like presenting. I like teaching, all that stuff. But I realized that this audience, this group of people, is a really unique place, a person that I could wake up and really feel fulfilled and enjoy serving and talking about, never getting tired. So passion is something that you can consider. That's a contributing factor, but it's not the determining factor. Now, what about number 5? Number 5, we're looking at positioning. This is so huge, where many people's offers can start selling quickly just simply by positioning differently. What do I mean by that? The price isn't really why. When people go to your consultations, they're like, oh, I can't afford it, or I'm too busy, or or I need to think about it. The issue is never your price. It's almost always your positioning. And what I mean by that is, look, if you have your, let's say this is your price. Here is your price, and your price is $3,000, but they compare it. Oh, it doesn't look like this is accurate. So I need to write this somewhere else. Okay, I see. So let's say this is your price, and your price is this big, right? When they see your price, $3,000, if you don't give something for them to position your price to, they will compare and contrast your price to something disempowering. They'll look at maybe something free or cheap. They'll go to YouTube University. They'll think of Google. They'll think of all these other stuff that they think could help them. And compared to something that their mind is naturally going to compare your program to, it makes it by comparison that your price is too much. So like when someone's saying, oh, that's expensive. Well, the question is, well, compared to what? All pricing is positioning. All expense is positioning. Because, or they're like, ooh, that's gonna take a lot of work. Well, compared to what? Because you know what else takes a lot of work? Being constantly drained and exhausted all day, huffing and puffing, or when you see a flight of stairs and you're just like, oh, I need to go up these, and you got to mentally prepare yourself because you're so fatigued and exhausted and drained. Or what else takes a lot of work is having like I've had conversations with people who don't want to go out to socialize with friends, to connect, to get the connection that they crave, because they don't like the way that they look in the mirror. They're so self-conscious of how they view themselves that it's affecting their social life. Or what else is a lot of work is not having the energy to play around with your kids and keep up with your grandchildren. That's a lot of work too. So if they are if they're thinking like, okay, it costs too much time, then it's like, well, compared to what? You know what else costs a lot of time? like funerals. Funerals are expensive. Funerals make it to where we have no more time left. And if you've ever like priced the cost of a coffin, they're thousands and thousands of dollars. Even for a cardboard coffin, they are thousands of dollars. And yes, they sell cardboard coffins. We've looked at them. So the pricing is really like too much. It's all compared to what? It's a comparison. So if you don't give them something to position your program to, then they'll do it to something disempowering. But look, let's say that you give the comparison of a different program. Now you give a different, you show them the cost, the COI. And this is where most entrepreneurs have heard of ROI, which is return on investment, but almost nobody is talking about COI, which stands for cost of inaction. Before showing them the cost of how much it costs to say yes to you, start showing them how much it's already costing them to say no. Show them how much it's costing in medical bills and procedures and surgeries, in their groceries in different areas. So by being able to show that they're able to not only get a return on investment, but show them it's already costing you more to say no, to stay stuck, to be where you are, than it is to saying yes to your physical freedom and your health, and to defy the diagnosis, to reverse your sickness. And so positioning is really key. By being able to position what other people are doing in the marketplace, maybe some other methodologies take a lot of time and some take less time. But by being able, if you can show someone how to get a result faster, then position it to the slow way of trying to figure it out yourself, or doing nothing, or do it yourself, or doing it cheap, and all the issues that come with that. So by learning how to include in your messaging when you're speaking or when you have opportunities to present, you want to show the cost of not fixing it, not just the steps of, like, one of the reasons why a lot of health educators have a hard time selling or attracting paying clients is because when they're presenting, they're talking about all the stuff that they got to do, the herbs to take, when to take them, the exercise, when to wake up, what to do, the type of exercises. They go into all this. That's really the cost of action. You're showing them how expensive it's going to be in time, energy, effort to say yes to your program. And you're giving them a big list of all this overwhelming stuff to do. And they're like, oh, if I work with you, if I pay you, not only is it going to be hurting with the 3,000, but now it's going to hurt when I say yes and go through all of this. So instead of showing them all the costs, all the steps and strategies that you're going to teach them when they join your program, focus on the cost of inaction, the cost that it's costing them right now if they don't fix it, the problem and the pain that they're experiencing today. And then show them the ROI, the return on investment, show them the possibilities, the payoff, the pleasure that they'll be able to experience as a result of being on the back end of your program. So a lot of times when I ask people, like, so what's your offer? They're like, well, I've got this 13-day challenge, and we've got this 36-page workbook that we cover, and in 13 days, they're able to, it costs like $47, and I have no idea what their offer is. A lot of people mistakenly believe that their offer is their pieces. Your offer isn't your pieces. Your offer is the payoff. It's the transformation. People are not paying for how many pages you have in your workbook. People are not paying for how many hours of your time they get. People don't want to buy more hours of your time. They want to buy more hours of their time back so they can spend it with their loved ones. Like if I had a way that I could help you to craft a program that you could start selling. Let's say even if you just sold 3 programs a month for $3,000, 3 programs, well, let's see this. 3 programs times 3,000, that is $9,000, right? So you got $9,000 a month times 12 months in a year, and then congratulations, you now have $108,000 a year. You've got a 6-figure business just by selling 3 programs at $3,000. Now, do you think out of 8 billion people on this planet that this is in the realm of possibility to be able to find 3 people who you can sell a $3,000 program to that would be willing to pay you for your advice, there are hundreds of thousands of people out there for many of you. And for some of you, there are millions of people who are already looking to buy or are currently paying more for their health problems than what you're able to charge, even at $3,000 to fix their issues. So, and you've got a six-figure business, $100,000 a year. So, that's not much. You could do a lot more than that, but that's a good start at least, right? So why I'm saying that is because when you're going through your positioning, it's very important to be able to help people to see that that compare your offer to what it's cost them if they don't that they don't do this. And you could see, like, if you're not making $108,000 through your health coaching program, you just look at how much money are you making with your program now. If it was, let's say it was $5,000 a year, perhaps some people, they're not really selling that much. But if you're making $5,000 a year with your current health program, then you are paying life right now $103,000 a year, every year that you don't figure out how to sell premium value offers and how to sell these $3,000 programs or a profitable program, because you could be making more, but if you haven't figured this out, then it's already costing you. So this is what you want to be able to show people, the return on investment, that what they're going to get as a result of joining a program. So your offer is not all the little pieces. Your offer is a transformation. Think about, what is your client able to experience, to do that they couldn't do before going through your program? Like, this is a powerful question to write down. You could even put it into ChatGPT and make a list of what are all of the things that they're able to do as a result of going through your education. That's your offer. That is what the transformation is. People are not paying for information, they're paying for transformation. So it's important for us to understand that you're not showing them, it's not about how much you know, and it's not about putting everything you know into your course and your coaching program. It's about just sharing with them the insights that it requires to get from point A to point B in the shortest time period. And if you can do it faster, people actually pay more money for speed than with having to wade through all this massive information. They're actually not paying you for more information, they're paying you for distillation. And what I mean by is when you're able to distill, to filter, to take away, there is actually more value in taking out information that is not necessary for their healing journey than it is about giving all the information you know. So for example, let's say that I'm going to work with you. Our goal is to help you to make the six-figure business in your health education. And if I can help you to figure out how to get 3 sales a month at $3,000, and I could do it we're going to do a one-on-one coaching session 3 times a day for the next year. So we're going to, three times a week for the next year. We're going to meet, and you're going to get this at the end of the day. How many of you would be like, yeah, that sounds attractive? Not really, because that's a lot of time. If I could help you to get the same results in, say, 5 videos, how many of you would say, if I go through these 5 videos and then you're able to get this results, then how many of you would be interested in that? Which one would you want to pay more for? The one that has less and gets the same results, or the one that has more hours of my time? You would want to get the one that has less, because people will pay more for less. And that's what we have to shift our mind into thinking. That's what people are paying for. They're paying for speed. They're paying for eliminating hassle, and they're paying for making things simple and easy. When you're able to simplify a process, people will pay more money for that. So that's what we're talking about. Positioning is helping them to see what is the return on investment, what's the cost of inaction if they don't join, and if you do not position your program, your price to something that they're already buying, they will position your offer to something disempowering, and they're going to think yours is expensive in comparison. Because that's the thing, the human mind cannot under any circumstance understand a new thing like your offer or program without comparison and contrast. So if you know that the brain is already looking for a contrast or a kind of like or some sort of comparison, then in your presentation, don't just list off all the herbs and the steps and the strategies. List off give them the comparison that their brain craves in order for them to make that buying decision, and compare your program to some other expenses they currently have that are not serving them or helping them. So that's the positioning is really huge. It's very helpful. It allows you to be unique and clear. So what about number 6? Number 6 is all about your profitable proficiency. And what I mean by that is another category that you want to consider is think about what is, how knowledgeable are you on the topic? How much like maybe expertise or experience you have. Maybe it's a personal transformation you've had. That would make you more proficient. Maybe there's some training or certification or degree that you've gotten in that direction. That would increase your proficiency. The thing is with this is that when you're getting started, this is an indicator. It doesn't determine whether or not you can or do it. In fact, some of these things you can have a problem like Joe Cross. Joe Cross was a lawyer from Australia, and he found that he was diagnosed and he found he was fat, sick, and nearly dead. And he wanted to fix his own problem. He did not have the proficiency. So what he did is he flew out to America and he started using juicing to drink plants, and he documented his journey of discovering. He would interview some alternative medical professionals, and he would learn how to improve and what to do. And then as he would go through, he would interview other people on the street, and he made a documentary of him losing that weight and reversing his chronic illness that the doctor said that you can't fix. And by going on that journey, he was able to create a best-selling book, and that landed him a best-selling documentary, which many people are familiar with, Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead. And that launched his business career. And it wasn't something he was so proficient and certified and credentialed for. It was something he had a problem, and he documented his journey through that. So he gained proficiency. And what a lot of people mistakenly do is they try to, let me go get all this proficiency, let me get this expertise, the training, the credentials, the degrees. And people think that it's the credentials that are going to create more clients, but it's not another certificate that's going to get you more clients. And in fact, a lot of these health trainings, while they're amazing for giving us more experience and expertise, many of them, they lack the marketing training. They give little to no business training to actually how to get the clients. So they teach you everything about health, but they really don't teach you about how to do this in a sustainable manner. So more credentials doesn't mean more clients. It's the marketing that's going to help you get your message to the masses in a way that people will actually want to give you money for. So what he did was brilliant. Is by being able to do that, he launched his company where now he has coaching programs. He's a best-selling book. He's a high in-demand speaker. And he's made millions of dollars on the back end of affiliate commissions, because while you're documenting your journey about juicing, what is everybody going to want to do? They want to juice. So in order to juice, what kind of equipment do you need? You need a juicer. So then where is his audience going to get a juicer? He was a smart man, and he created an affiliate program or a strategic partnership with Nama juicers, and he gave them all his link, and every time he sold those juicers, he got commissions. And he was able to make millions of dollars on the back of these affiliates recommendations. And he was able to build his brand right through there. So there's ways that you could document your journey. You could use the health skills and knowledge you currently have or can easily acquire. And instead of waiting until you have it, document every journey. It's never too early to start publishing your direction, your goals, your desires. Even like he was fat, sick, and nearly dead. He was fat and overweight and sick, and he did not overcome when he started publishing. But by people following that journey, they felt endeared to him. Because here's the thing, in this business of, if you want to monetize your knowledge, all of us are in a personality business. before they buy your program, they're going to buy your personality. And that's why it's so important to document the good, bad, the ugly, like everything in between. They'll relate with you so much more if you, instead of trying to make yourself look all polished and professional, and be personal, be personable, be relatable. People would rather follow a leader that's always real than a leader that's always right. So number 6 is proficiency. This is something where you can think about that offer, like how proficient are you on it? Another way you can increase your proficiency is by interviewing experts or credible people, creating what I call in my book on high-ticket health coaching, I talk about creating a reporter's platform. So by interviewing people who have credibility on this source, it allows you to improve your credibility. It also positions you as a connected leader in your industry. When you have all of these leading industry leaders showing up on your show and you're having conversations, people start to position and they categorize you with all of these really credible people. So being a reporter is a really powerful approach for sharing as well. So what about number 7? Number 7 is the payoff. And this is where this is part of what we were talking about, is the transformation. Your offer is not all the little things that they get and how you deliver it. I call those the pieces. Your offer is the payoff. When you are creating, you want to think about also like a plane. When people are buying a plane ticket, they're not buying the Airbus or the airfare where they got to sit all cramped next to some people on both sides, where the kid's kicking you in the back and the baby's crying a few aisles over and you can't really sleep well the whole trip. That's not what they're buying. That's the process. That's painful. The more you focus on the process, the less people want to buy. But they're buying the Hawaii, they're buying the destination, the vacation, they're buying the beach, they're buying the coconut drinks, they're buying the nature, the exploring all the blue crystal warm waters and the white sandy beaches and all the possibilities out there, the rest, the refreshing, the experience and memories. That's what people are buying. So in when we present or talk about your business, who you help, what you do, you don't want to focus on your process of like juicing. Like there's a lady who created her whole program about carb-free living. Her website was like Life Without Carbs. Her podcast was like Carb-Free Living. And all her content on social media was like how to ditch the carbs. She's like, yeah, we're like carb warriors. We're going to get rid of all these carbs in our life. And she's speaking to crickets. And people are like, oh, they hear that and they're like, I don't want to get rid of carbs. I like carbs. I like pasta. I like bread. I like all this stuff. And she's trying to teach women how to lose weight through eliminating carbs. But as she made this emphasis on the process, all the pain, the cost of action, the cost, what they're going to lose when they say yes to you in your program, which is what most health educators do before they meet me, then what happened was she invested in a marketing mentor that was able to redirect her and was like, you know what? Like people they're not like on their beds thinking like, oh, if only I could just get rid of all the carbs in my life, then I will be feeling fit and fabulous and I'll be at the ideal weight and love my body. That is not going through anybody's minds. So instead of focusing on the carbs in your presentation and marketing messages for public facing, people who are not your clients yet, focus on the payoff of losing weight. Or what the carbs, like eliminating carbs, can do for you. So she was thinking, she's like, all right, what is a payoff? And that is a transformation. So endless energy. So now she styled herself as the energy coach, the energy specialist, where now you have like endless energy, energetic life, energy for life. I don't remember what she called her brand, but it had something to do with energy. And then her social media, she started sharing her stories, her relatable experience, the struggles that she went through and the successes. She started being more personality based or sharing more of her personality on social media. That personality attracted the people, and then the energy hooked the people and they wanted more of that. And you know what's really cool? When she did that shift, she was able to make over $1 million in her business within a few months, less than a year. She reached over the $1 million mark, where before she was struggling to sell her program. It was not a profitable program. But the one thing she said that I'll never forget is she's like, my course did not change. I already recorded the course before I did the rebranding or remessaging. everything stayed the same. So I still taught him to get rid of the carbs and how to be carb-free living. The training to be able to get those testimonials and the results, that was all the same. The things that she's passionate about teaching, the problems she knows they need, but they don't know that they need until they buy. Then she starts going through that process. And all of that stays the same, but the messaging, she started focusing on the payoff, and then it created big paydays for her. And so, and that's what you want to do with your offer, is you want to get really clear, what is the payoff? What is the result, the transformation? Because at the end of the day, you're here to transform lives. So whether people buy or not, it's going to be largely in the degree of what you focus on when you teach. The reason why I'm able to consistently help my clients to craft $3,000 programs that they can consistently sell again and again to people who are gladly willing to pay them and be like, $3,000 is nothing, is because we help them to craft a signature speech and a content strategy that's able to emphasize the payoff of their solutions so that people want to buy, and they're dropping $3,000 and they're glad for it. And then they give raving reviews and they're happy and they want to go refer other people. So that's the profitable payoff. What about number 8? Number 8 is all about your process. This is something that's very key. Now, I talked about how you don't want to list off all of this process stuff, the cost of what it's going to take to say yes to you. You want to, but you can pick one. What I would recommend is pick one process, one proprietary process unique to you. This is one of the ways that differentiates you from a crowded market. There may be other people in the industry who may be selling weight loss, but there's no one who's doing it quite like you. One, your personality makes you unique, and the second is your process. And what I would say is that there's a frame. Jesus did this all the time. You want to contrast with new way versus the old way. And your offer, if you're just trying to improve an old methodology, something that's very popular, people know and what they're doing, then that like people don't want the improvement offers. Like, and improvement offers usually end with ER, like you can lose weight faster, you can do juicing easier or faster, or it has like these ERs at the end. These improvement offers don't really convert, they don't sell, because when you're trying to sell people to do more, like exercise more, then what you're saying is the reason why they haven't gotten to the result is because they didn't do it enough, or that they're not enough. You have to, in order for someone to buy your offer, they have to admit that they were wrong, that they did something, that they messed up. And that's going to be a lot harder to do. But a new way, an improvement offer, a new opportunity, a switch, a new way is where you're like, look, the reason why you failed is because they gave you misinformation, that this process doesn't work, or it takes a lot longer. So you're able to contrast. Like, for instance, in our company, or one of my mentors, Dave MacArthur, when he tells a story about losing weight, he shares how he was doing the juicing, he was doing a bunch of supplements, he was exercising to work every day. He's got a photo of him with a farmer's tan because he was doing all it. He was eating salads without dressing and like oatmeal, and he was trying to do everything he knew that was eating healthy. Like, everybody knows mainstream advice is like eat healthy and exercise, right? That's how you lose weight. So he's like, I was trying to do all these things, but the issue, I wasn't losing weight. I wasn't getting better. And it wasn't until New Way I learned about cellular cleansing. By cleansing the toxins in my cells, that's when I eliminated toxins and I lost the weight. So this cellular cleansing is new, it's different, it's unlike anything else that I've tried in the past. And it's not just what I've tried, it's what your audience has tried. Because in their mind, like, I've tried this, I've done this diet, I've done this, and I've been eating healthy, I'm still not losing weight. And when you're able to contrast what doesn't work, and maybe it does work in different capacities, but it's not something you sell. There may even be modalities that you would recommend, you enjoy, but that's not what helps you or help this client. But you pick one process, one new way, and you basically build your presentation off of that, and you're able to show people that when you can do this one thing, this is a game changer that will have all these payoffs. It'll solve all these problems, and it will and you position it against all these old ways that people are familiar with, and old, like think about vehicles, or think about what other methods would people be paying for if they didn't accept your work. Like Ray Janae, we went through this process, and she's like, well, some women get liposuction or tummy tuck procedures, but then they don't have the muscles to be able to support it, and it causes a lot of issues. So we're able to compare this $10,000 surgery to her $3,000 coaching program, and then talk about the issues with these old ways, and then the payoffs and the benefits with your new way, which for her, we identified deep core exercises. And the sit-ups and the crunchies, what most people know to do, that's not really how to flatten your mommy tummy. It's through deep core exercises, targeted, specific, unique exercises that almost nobody's talking about. Now people are like, wow, this is a new way. I want to do that. And it doesn't have to be new to you. You might have been known about it for years. It has to be new to your audience. As long as they're not familiar with it, then it feels new and fresh. And also, we're talking about positioning. Even by you contrasting, when you introduce your one proprietary process, your new way, your methodology, when you introduce that, always introduce it in contrast to what people have already been exposed to. And when you say it's not better than this, it's different and it's entirely unique. People will pay a premium for something that's different more than something that's better. What's better in marketing, what's better is being different. So the profitable process is pick one, pick something. So like with Dr. Kendra Lee, I was working with her. It's like, who is people that you have been proficient, you've had good success with helping, and what were some of the results? She's like, well, I helped some people lose weight. There's some diabetes, there's some other things. It's like weight loss. It's like, okay, so who is the type of person that you've had some of the most success with? And she's like, well, retired women. And then like, who has the most purchasing power? She's like, yeah, retired women have a good amount of money, they can handle it. It's like, all right, so what is your process? If you could pick one, she's like, well, I got a bunch of things I could help people with. There's a lot of different problems I can help others with. I was like, I know you can help a lot of people. I'm not saying don't use those methodologies and skills you've invested. I'm just saying don't mention them and emphasize them in your presentation before they become a paying client. So in your marketing, pick one that your whole marketing is going to be promoting this methodology. And then once they become your client, you can help them with a whole host of health problems. You can introduce all your tool set of skills that you have for them after they become your client. But before, keep it simple, like the KISS method, right? Keep it simple and systematic. This is a system of generating leads and a system of converting those leads to high-paying clients. And part of this system is pick one process. She's like, well, detox juicing is really going to be something, a theme throughout everything that I teach. So that's a core, that's going to be included. So I'm like, there we go. So your program, your who, what statement is, I help retired women to lose weight without dieting through detox juicing. Boom. And then her offer, her $3,000 program, helps them to implement the new way, which the new way is your process. So this is something that will make or break your business. And it's these small tweaks, like really, they're so easy to overlook. Hardly anyone's talking about it. And what a lot of times health institutions where you get certifications, their goal is to teach you all of these different modalities so you can help a wide variety of different problems and you gain all these skills. But it's really by picking one profitable person, one profitable problem, one new way, a process that you're going to help them with it. And then this is what's going to help you to build a profitable program. So the last thing that you can factor in that will help you to make decisions. Well, before I do that, like how many of you have been finding this valuable? Like type value in the chat below if you've been getting some breakthroughs and you've been seeing some things that you haven't seen before. And you're like, this is making sense. Like type value in the chat if things are making sense for you. So number 9 is your promise. This promise is so powerful. And what I mean by a profitable promise is that if you can summarize your program, when people pay you $3,000, what they really want to know is like, what kind of guarantee do I have? And when it comes to coaching is really hard to guarantee. There's factors that Like, you can't guarantee they're going to actually apply the advice you give. You can't guarantee they'll show up and how they work. So what you can do is, like, if it's an online course, if you're selling a course, then, like, I think unconditional money back guarantees are great, like 30 days. It's better because it doesn't take more time for you to solve their problem. It's simply like the cost of an online course is like a penny or a fraction of a penny. You send them an email. Now they have access. They can log in. And the price, you could sell those for like $1,000, $2,000, whatever. Even $1,000 course that people buy, and if you sell 10 of those a month, then you've got a $10,000 a month business. But as far as, like, when you have a risk reversal, this is another concept of your promise, is a risk reversal, is you want to eliminate the risk. One of the things that causes people to hesitate is they feel like they're making a risk when they're making an investment. So what you do is you just say, hey, look, I'm so confident that you're going to like my products. Like, when they're physical products, what I would say in my speech is I have a 30-day money back guarantee. I call this empty canister campaign. The best way for you to really test if our programs, our superfood nutrition system can help you, is if you put it in your body. So I don't give out samples to people. I give them a powerful presentation, and then I share with them my guarantee. I'm so confident this will change your life that when you try the products for 30 days and you go through that, if at the end of 30 days, for whatever reason or no reason whatsoever, if you don't like it and you did not see the results you're looking for, then just call a company and say, hey, I ate everything, I don't like it, and we'll gladly give you your money back. I'm so confident, I'm willing, and listen to the languaging that I'm sharing here. I'm willing to front the responsibility on my shoulders. I will take all the risk so that you can be able to succeed. Because I'm confident when you have a promise, a guarantee, the amount of confidence and certainty that you're able to have, and really, like, it's one of the most ethical things that we can do, is give them some sort of guarantee of, like, what can they expect. Now, we can't, like, guarantee their results, but we can guarantee their satisfaction. And that's something where, like, if like I tell people, if I'm not able to help you, I don't want your money. I'm not here to just take your money and run and go, sucker. That is not me at all. I'm here because I genuinely care, and I know that I've got a process, not just one, but multiple frameworks to help you to solve problems that you didn't even know you had. And I'm here to guide you by the hand, simplify the problems, and take you to the promised land so that you can actually enjoy your life and live free from these struggles and pains that you've been experiencing for years. And it shows integrity when you can stand by something that you offer. So, and I'm talking about, like, with physical products or with the courses, they're so easy to give some money back. And sometimes we're afraid, well, what if someone gets in and they take advantage of it, they take everything and leave? I will tell you statistically that the amount of people that do that is such a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a percent of the people who do that. And the amount of sales that you will increase, the certainty that you can transfer in people who want to buy from you, you will make far more sales by having a profitable promise than any amount of that you would lose from someone who wants to take advantage of your guarantee. So the payoff is so much greater, and if you're going to lose a lot of sales simply because you didn't have that guarantee, because you're afraid of that one person out of 1,000 who's going to take advantage of that. But there would have been like another 300 sales that would have never happened if you didn't provide a guarantee. So that's for courses or for physical products if you can do it, like supplements. But what about like coaching? Coaching is something that you can't really you've already delivered the time, the energy, the effort. It's hard for you to give that guarantee in that capacity. So I wouldn't give a unconditional money back guarantee. I would give what's called a conditional guarantee. Conditional is like, hey, I'm confident I'll help you with this and you will be able to get this result if you do these conditions. If you follow these steps, then you will get this result. And one thing, like, if you think about what would ensure that they would fail, or what would they have to do that if they do these things, like absolutely it's impossible for it not to work, and make that your conditions. Not only will it increase people's buy-in that they'll actually apply the principles that you teach, then But it'll also make it to where those who do the work, they will get the results. And you're not making yourself unconditional that you're going to do all this work for weeks or months or however long, and then they say, hey, I want my money back. That protects you and it protects them, because they're making a decision. They're making a commitment with themselves too, that and with you. It's a mutual agreement. So you can give a conditional money back guarantee, and you could say, another way you could do it is you could say, hey, my guarantee is that when you join this program, you can expect this result, or I'll work with you until you do. And if it's a group coaching program, you're able to work together with them in a group. You can answer question and answers. You can do one-to-many. It doesn't cost more of your time, energy, and effort to help them in a group or giving them access to your courses or trainings than it would. And that's why I'm not a big proponent, and I'm not like recommending. I hope that at no point during this video did you think in order to raise your price, you need to give more hours of your time. I don't believe that at all. In fact, if you're able to help them to get a results in less time or with less of your time, it would actually make your program worth more. You can charge a higher price if they can still get the result with less of your involvement and more of their time with their family. If you can help them get more speed or faster, then people will pay more for it. So as far as your powerful promise, this is going to give people the strength, the courage that you stand behind what you have. And I let people know that if 100% of what I teach works for 100% of the people who do 100% of the work. So if you make yourself available and coachable, available meaning you have to actually show up for the coaching. You gotta be live, or if you can't show up live, you gotta listen to the recordings. If you don't actually listen to the training, then how are you gonna get a result? You don't just think it into existence. So you gotta be coachable. You have to be available. And then coachable means like good mentorship is gonna be counterintuitive to you. And I'm gonna be teaching you some things that may not make sense at first, but it works. And so by being coachable, then you will be able to apply those principles. And when you're available and coachable, I know the principles I teach work. And our goal is to help you to get to 6 figures, or we'll work with you until you do. So we're not just kicking you out. You're able to be a part of this community until you're able to reach those 6 figures and beyond, and we're here to help you. So that's what I've done. I've structured my business in a way where it takes the same amount of effort to be able to help 5 as it does 15 or 50. So I could provide this and actually enjoy the process. I like helping people, and I don't want to just take money and run. So just think about how you're going to be able to structure your guarantee in a way that reverses the risk for them, and that will drastically increase your prices. So recap real quick. To have a profitable program, if you want to like audit, if you were to pay me my $3,000 an hour consulting fee and you wanted me to audit your offer, what I would usually look at is who is a profitable person that you're serving. You want to pick one, and they got to be both willing and able to pay and easy to find. And then number 2 is, what is the profitable problem? Not a bunch of problems, but pick one problem that you're going to solve. And then what is your pricing? I might tell you, I probably would tell you to raise your price. And like even Hollis and Shantoya, even just raising their prices, they were able to sell more, get more clients, and their existing clients were able to join. Dr. Kendra Lee doubled her price and sold more. So sometimes it's a pricing issue. Number 4, I would probably evaluate how passionate are you about that topic. It's not the only thing, but it is a contributing factor. Number 5 is positioning. I would help you to figure out what is the positioning, who can you position your offer against? What is the cost of an action before you tell them the cost of saying yes? Let's figure out the cost they're already paying to say no. So we'd figure out the positioning for you. And then the proficiency, see like what is your skill level, or what is a learning path to help you to expand your skill set, or see what would be the best route to be able to make that simple for you. And then 7 is a payoff. How clear are you? We'll list out what are all the return on investment, the results they're able to get, the transformations that are valuable that people want to pay for. We craft that signature speech and get very clear on how to communicate that payoff to others. And then we'd find a process, like one new way that you could present and position your methodologies against or compared to, that will help people to be like, oh, I could do that. And it really simplifies and increases your conversions. And number 9 is we would work together on a profitable promise to figure out what guarantee makes sense for your offer, which makes sense for, that's not going to put you in a tight situation, but will also not put them in a tight situation, so everybody wins. And when you follow these criterias, it changes the game for your, it really changes things for creating a profitable program. So if you want to know more about this stuff, then every month what I do is I go live in our challenge. We have a high income health expert challenge, and we often talk about your offer, we talk about your business. You can ask a lot of questions to figure out, to get help and support for your program. And we do it every month. And we do it the first Thursday of each month. It's free to attend, and then it is, I got a tickle in my throat, but it's free to attend. It's only $49 for the VIP. You can get backstage, ask questions, and we'd love to see you. Just go to the website down below, highincomehealthexpert.com, and I look forward to seeing you. Remember, God doesn't call the qualified, He qualifies the called. Have a great day, and God bless.